pick up and drop off. You can request books and get them at this curbside. We are now doing 2 days a week for story time. And so we'll be Wednesday and Fridays right around 11:30-ish, depending on what's going on that day, Eastern time. And then we're going to have some special events that we have going on as well. And we have one next week that's going to be really exciting on Thursday evening. We're going to have a discussion with Dr. Ibram Kendi, who is a renowned scholar, particularly on race issues and African-American history. And he has a new book for children, a children's book called Anti-Racist Baby, about how to treat everyone right and not have racist ideas. And so he's come on and he's going to read that book with us. And we're going to have a discussion about that, what that means for us as young people, as adults, and everything in between. So you'll be seeing more about that. We're going to post about that later today. But I'm telling you today, since I won't see you again until Wednesday. So I wanted to make that announcement today. So that'll be in the evening time. It'll be a special time, story time with Dr. Ibram Kendi. That'll be at 6 p.m. And so be on the lookout for that information. And we're really excited about that. That'll be on next Thursday. Today we have 2 cool books, as usual. The first is called A Hat for Mrs. Goldman. And this one is a story about knitting and love. And it's written by Michelle Edwards and Brian Carras. And thank you to the publisher for giving us permission. And then our second book is Morris Micklewhite and the Tangerine Dress. And this one is written by Christine Baldacchino, and illustrated by Isabel Malenfant. And we thank Groundwood Books for letting us read this one. So this will be cool. I haven't read this one either. So let's do our shout outs and say hi to everybody and sing our welcome song. Today is, I'm told it's day 65 of Storytime. I think it might be more than that, but it's at least day 65. Let me say hello to Ariana and Zahenia and Kiara and Elijah. Thanks for joining us. You might notice I have my nice Councilmember Jawando polo on today. It's hot outside, so you don't always have to dress up for story time. So I'm a little more casual today. Hope you're okay with that. So again, hi to Ariana, Zahenia, Kiara, and Elijah, and hi to everybody. And if you want me to say hi to your little person, big person, medium person, whomever, type something in the chat on my Facebook page. Send me a message. I'm happy to do it. All right, here we go. You ready? Welcome song. So we can say hi to everybody else. Hello, Mr. Mortimer. Hello, council member. We clap and sing hello. We clap and sing hello. With our friends at story time. We clap and sing hello. We wave and sing hello. We wave and sing hello. With our friends at story time. We wave and sing hello. And then we get a deep voice and we stomp and sing hello. We stomp and sing hello. With our friends at story time. We stomp and sing hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I missed you. All right. A Hat for Mrs. Goldman. A story about knitting and love. Anyone know how to knit? I never learned. Maybe I'll try to learn that someday. When Sophia, that's the character in the book today, was a little tiny baby, Mrs. Goldman next door knit her a tiny baby hat to keep her warm. See the hat there. That was nice of her. Now Sophia is big, and she makes the pom-poms for Mrs. Goldman's hats. Hats for the tiniest babies. Hats for small, medium, and large friends and neighbors. Mrs. Goldman taught her how. Keeping keepies warm is our mitzvah, said Mrs. Goldman, kissing the top of Sophia's head. This is your keepy, and a mitzvah is a good deed. Very nice. Sophia and Mrs. Goldman bundle up to walk Mrs. Goldman's dog, Fifi, Winter is almost here. Fifi wears her dinosaur sweater. Sophia wears her fuzzy kitten hat and matching mittens. Mrs. Goldman made them all. She's been busy. An icy wind blows Mrs. Goldman's hair left and then right. It turns her ears pink. Where's your hat? Asks Sophia. I gave it to Mrs. Chen, she explains. Mrs. Goldman's keepy must be cold, worries Sophia. She needs a hat. Huh? At home, Sophia thinks and worries again. Worries and thinks. Mrs. Goldman needs a hat. Who will knit one for her? Not Mrs. Goldman. She's too busy knitting for everyone else. Last year, Mrs. Goldman taught Sophia how to knit. I only like making pom-poms, decided Sophia after a few days. Knitting is hard, and it takes too long. Now Sophia digs out the knitting board bag Mrs. Goldman gave her, and they get started on the hat. The stitches are straight and even. The soft wool smells like Mrs. Goldman's chicken soup. Mm-mm. Sophia holds the needles and tries to remember what to do. She drops one stitch, drops another. Still, Sophia knits on. She wants to make Mrs. Goldman the most special hat in the world. The next day, when Sophia and Mrs. Goldman walk Fifi, tiny fluffs of snow fall on Mrs. Goldman's head. Her ears are bright red. Mrs. Goldman's keepy must be very cold, frets Sophia. Sophia knits after her breakfast. She knits after lunch. She knits after dinner. She even knits while Mama reads her a bedtime story. But Sophia doesn't knit when she's at Mrs. Goldman's house. The hat is a surprise. All week, there's frost on the windows. One day, when they're walking, Fifi, Mrs. Goldman, wraps her scarf around her head like she's a mummy. A fierce wind unwraps it and flings it up high. Sophia jumps and grabs at the end of the scarf. Fifi nips on the other end. Mrs. Goldman's keepy must be freezing, shivers Sophia. She's so cold, but she's still working on that hat. Sophia knits and knits and knits faster and faster and faster, stitch by stitch, row by row. Then Sophia sews. At last, Mrs. Goldman's hat is done. Ta-da! Well, sort of. The hat is lumpy and bumpy. There are holes where there shouldn't be holes. It looks like a monster hat, thinks Sophia. Sophia turns the hat over and around, inside and out. Mrs. Goldman's hat should not be a monster hat. That will scare Fifi. Sophia opens the box of Mrs. Goldman's hats that she made for her. Each one is special, but they are all too small for Sophia at this point, and way too small for Mrs. Goldman. Sophia looks in the hall closet. There are hats Mrs. Goldman made for Mama and Papa. She can't give her their hats. There's a scratchy old hat Sophia's abuela wore back in Mexico to grandma. Worse than Mrs. Goldman's scarf. Sophia thinks about Mrs. Goldman and the hats they make together. Your pom-poms add beauty, Mrs. Goldman always tells her. And that's a mitzvah too. Sophia feels her heart grow bigger and lighter, like a balloon. She searches her room for red yarn. Red is Mrs. Goldman's favorite color, my favorite color too. She gathers her scissors, her sewing needle, and her stack of index cards. Sophia gets busy, very busy. All right, what's she doing? When Sophia's done, Mrs. Goldman's hat is the most special hat in the world. Look at all that. It's so pretty. Sophia rushes next door. Surprise! She says to Mrs. Goldman, holding up the hat. For me, asks Mrs. Goldman. For you, answers Sophia. It's a hat, she says. Of course it is, exclaims Mrs. Goldman. And she hugs Sophia. And then she cries, happy tears. What's wrong, said Sophia. Don't you like it? I more than like it. I love it, declares Mrs. Goldman. It's gorgeous, like Mrs. Goldman's rose bushes. And you know how I love roses. Mrs. Goldman kisses Sophia on the top of her teepee. I made it all by myself, Sophia tells her. Amazing. And when you look at all these palms. 1, 2, 3, 4, counts Mrs. Goldman. Sophia joins in. There are 20 pom-poms on Mrs. Goldman's hat, each one made with love. She gently pushes her hat on. So she filled all those holes with the pom-poms. That's a smart idea. The next day, Sophia and Mrs. Goldman walk Fifi. Fifi wears her dinosaur sweater. Sophia wears her fuzzy kitten hat and matching mittens. Mrs. Goldman wears her Sophia hat. Her teepee is toasty warm, and that's a mitzvah too. The end. That was very nice. She used her skills to help Mrs. Goldman out and make her a hat. It's awesome. Let's see if anyone said hi to me today. All right. And then we'll get into do the Morris Micklewhite. Then we'll do our hand washing song at the end, okay? Or we'll do it right now. Let's wash our hands. Remember, twice. Keep them nice and clean for the weekend. Warm soap and water. Don't spread any viruses. Tops and bottoms, in between. Rub them all together, scrub them all together. Now they're clean. Tops and bottoms, in between. Rub them all together, scrub them all together. Now they're clean. All right, clean hands. Let's see what we've got here. Morris Micklewhite in the tangerine dress. Tangerine's kind of like an orangish color. All right, let's see who says hi. Oh, Ashley, good. Yeah, we'll have a great session. Thomas McCloskey, Kim Young. Hey, everybody. Good to see everyone. Glad you're here. All right. Morris Micklewhite has a mother named Mariah and a cat named Moo. Looks like their hair is kind of tangerine as well. Morris likes Sundays because his mother makes him pancakes on Sundays. Remember we had a pancake French toast battle? French toast narrowly won. That was my favorite. But pancakes got a lot of picks too. Morris likes pancakes, and Sunday is a great day for pancakes or French toast. Morris likes a lot of things about school. Mondays are great too, because on Mondays he goes to school. He likes to paint. He likes to do puzzles. He likes the apple juice at snack time. Ooh, it's a good one. And singing the loudest during circle time. What do you like about school? What do you miss? I know it's tough right now, but think about some of the things that you like about school. So hopefully we can go back in some way in the fall. Most of all, Morris likes the dress up center and the tangerine dress. Morris likes the color of the dress. It reminds him of tigers, the sun, and his mother's hair. He likes the noises the dress makes, swish, 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 when he walks, and crinkle, crinkle, crinkle when he sits down. He takes turns wearing all the different shoes, but his most favorite ones go click, click, click across the floor. See that tiger? Sometimes the boys make fun of Morris. Sometimes the girls do too. Morris pretends he can't hear their words. Over the swish, swish, swishes, crinkle, crinkle, crinkles, and click, click, click he makes when he walks. Morris pretends he can't hear their words, but he can. You hear that when kids make fun of us? When anyone makes fun. On Monday, Becky tried to pull the dress right off of his back. "You can't wear that. You're a boy," she said. On Tuesday, Eli, Henry, and the other boys wouldn't let Morris ride on their spaceship unless he took the dress off. "Astronauts don't wear dresses," they said. How do you know what an astronaut wears? On Wednesday, Bee and Leela noticed Morris's fingernails. His mother had painted them for him the night before. They chased him around the playground, shouting, "Pinky fingers, pinky fingers." It's not nice. On Thursday, the boys wouldn't sit near Morris at the snack table. "We don't want you to turn us into girls," they said. It's very mean. On Friday, Morris pretended he had a tummy ache. When he thought of all the kids in his class and all the mean things that they did and said, his tummy ached for real. His mother let him stay home in his bed and read books about elephants. Moo, his cat, sat in his lap. Moo liked elephants too. On Saturday, Morris's mother brought him some apple juice. As he took a sip, she stroked his hair. Moo purred loudly. Purr. Morris suddenly felt well enough to do a puzzle. He hummed to himself and felt better still. It's nice that Mama's supporting him. On Sunday, Morris crawled out from under the covers after a wonderful dream about being on a space safari with Moo. In the dream, they saw big blue elephants and tigers the color of the sun that Morris could hold in the palm of his hand. The elephants swish, swish, swished as they moved through the grass, and the tigers ate giant leaves that crinkle, crinkle, crinkled as their tiny teeth chewed them. The buttons on the spaceship click, click, clicked as under Morris's fingers. It's a cool dream. Morris wanted to share all the amazing things he had seen. He took out his brushes, put on his smock, and began to paint, using every color he could imagine. He showed his painting to his mother. When he was done, he pointed out the big blue elephant, the tiny tiger, the color of the sun, the tall grass, and the giant leaves. He pointed out Moo in his shiny, round-spaced helmet. "And who's that?" his mother asked, pointing at the little boy in the tangerine dress riding atop the big blue elephant. Morris was hoping she'd ask. "It's me. That's me," he said. It's a great painting, huh? On Monday, Morris went back to school with his painting rolled up in his backpack. When he had the chance, he put on the dress that reminded him of tigers and the sun and of his mother's hair. Morris swish, swish, swish. The tangerine dress crinkled, crinkled, crinkled. His shoes click, click, clicked. Morris felt wonderful. Eli and Henry wouldn't let him on his spaceship, so Morris built his own. He hung his painting on the front and climbed in. "Ready to take off." "Are there really elephants in space?" Eli asked. "And tigers?" "If you follow me, we can find out," Morris offered. Eli and Henry followed Morris to a planet they had never visited before. As they explored, Morris's swish, 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 the tangerine dress crinkle, crinkle, crinkled. His shoes click, click, clicked. By the time they returned to Earth, Eli and Henry had decided that it didn't matter if astronauts wore dresses or not. The best astronauts were the ones who knew where all the good adventures were hiding. Morris smiled. He already knew that, but he taught them. When snack time was over, Becky demanded the dress. Morris told her that she could have it when he was done with it. Boys don't wear dresses, Becky sniffed. Morris smiled as he swished and crinkled and clicked back to the spaceship. This boy does, he said. The end. It's really important about being who you are and doing what you feel is right for you. And there's people ready to support you in that. So that's a really good book. Morris Micklewhite in the Tangerine Dress. All right. So Ashley Holton, good to see you. Morris, yes, live your best life. All these people. Allison Seals, hi. A lot of people here. Good to see everybody. All right. So remember, we will be back Wednesday, but Thursday we're going to have a very special event with Dr. Evelyn Kendi where we read Anti-Racist Baby. And we're going to have a discussion with some students and families about racism and how to be anti-racist. So it'll be tune in at 6 p.m. on Thursday. We'll be posting about that this afternoon, so you'll have all the information. You can share it out far and wide. And thank you to Montgomery County Public Schools for partnering with them. And I'll mention this again on Wednesday, obviously. But we're off until Wednesday. We have plenty of older but goodies. You probably haven't seen all 65 story times, so they're all on my Facebook and YouTube page, Councilmember Will Jawando. So if you get lonely over the weekend or want to see it Monday or Tuesday until we come back on Wednesday, do that. Stay safe, stay 6 feet apart, wear your face coverings when you go out, and I'll see you next week. Let's sing our goodbye song. We clap and sing goodbye. We clap and sing goodbye. Oh, with our friends at Storytime, we clap and sing goodbye. We wave and sing goodbye. We wave and sing goodbye. Oh, with our friends at Storytime, we wave and sing goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. See you all next week.